Hey guys, welcome to the video. This is my Premier League 26-27 season predictions. Now, I'd just like to say now that I would have done a League 2, a League 1 and a Championship predictions, but I can't find any thing for it at the moment. If I do find anything, I'll do predictions as soon as I can because the leagues are starting soon. But anyway, here is my Premier League 26-27 predictions. So let's just start off with the relegated teams. Obviously, in 20th place, I think it's going to be pretty simple and pretty easy to predict. It's going to be Hull City. I mean, I'm sorry to the Hull fans. It's going to be a great experience for you, but I mean, I don't think the team is ready for this league. I feel like the transfers they've done quite a lot of transfers. It's pretty impressive, but I don't think that the players they brought in are experienced and well-proven players for the Premier League. I feel like the players they brought in is for the next couple of years for the Championship, so they can fight to get back into promotion again. But I don't feel like they've got the squad for it, and even though I've got to say they did put in a very good Wembley performance, but usually a team that quite most of the time when a team gets promoted through the playoffs in Championship, they don't often survive immediately in the Premier League. So the next team I'm going to pick to go down in 19th is Ipswich. I'm sorry, call it cliche, call it obvious, but I feel like they just don't have the squad for it. I mean, Philogene has been an absolute a great season. He's good players. He's a player that deserves to be in the Premier League. But looking at the rest of the team, Furlong, O'Shea, Davies, Greaves, Walton, I don't even know if these players are still at the club. Walton is still at the club, but they brought in two goalkeepers, Overland, Sherpen. But why do you need two goalkeepers? I don't know. But they brought in experienced players like Issa Diop and Lukic from Fulham. Florentino from Burnley. I feel like he's a really good sign, a really good player. Chuba Akpom, Abdul Fattaru, he's a really good player. But once again, Emerson, these are players. Maeda, these are all players that remind me of not a Premier League team. These remind me of a Championship team fighting for promotion for next year, because I know they're going to get relegated. We've got a high chance for them to get relegated. I do believe Ipswich do have the most highest chance of the relegated teams to stay up, but I don't think it'll happen. Realistically, I don't think it'll happen. And the next team I predict is going to go down isn't going to be one of the new promoted. I think Coventry will survive. But the next team I predict to go down is it's a pretty hard choice actually. I'm not actually pre-done this, so out of all the teams, Newcastle, and that is going to be the biggest prediction ever if that's correct. I cannot remove them. There we go. That is going to be the biggest prediction this season if they do go down. But I don't think their squad's good enough. The new managers they brought in, I don't believe he's going to do a good job. I mean, they brought in a bunch of youth players. They're not really brought in many experienced players. Like they brought in Hornicek from Braga. He's not Premier League experienced. Bamba, he's a young. I think he's 20 years old. Sean Stair, he's a 19, 18-year-old from Ajax. Bazuma Traore is a player from Bundesliga. It's more intense than that league, so you think he'd do better in the Premier League, but I don't know. I've not seen him in the Premier League just yet. He's a good player. Ewan, Johan, these are good players. I feel like the changes at the club's too big. Like Bruno Guimaraes going to Arsenal, Hassan Tonali leaving, Anthony Gordon, Trippier, all these big hitters for them have left the club. And the new manager, Matthias Geisler, I don't think I've not seen enough of him. I don't think maybe he might got a good track record in Red Bull, as I was saying, on Saudi Arabia, but it's just not the Premier League, and I'm not seeing anything from him yet. He'll be the youngest, one of the youngest managers at 38 years old, and I do have hope for him because Brighton had a new manager and they did really well last season. But I just don't think this new Newcastle team will have enough experience to be able to like do well. I mean, one of the biggest players I forgot to mention that they signed is I don't know if they have signed him, but Mazambi from it's the Swiss midfielder, a really good talent. I don't know if they did sign him, but if they did, that's a really good signing. But once again, I don't think the squad is good enough for Wissa, Barnes. Alenga's a good player, Barnes is a decent player, Wissa's a good player, Walter Maida's a good player, but I'm not seeing how this manager plays anything from him yet. And just going off of all the players they've lost and how much changes going on in their club, I don't think they'll do well this season. I feel like this new manager is going to get sacked pretty early on. They're going to bring no manager in, and they're going to bring a new manager in. It's going to be chaos at the club, pretty much. But it is a big shout to guess that, because I'm also looking at the last season's Premier League table. They finished 12th with top class. They've got rid of top class. They're going to drop off, and they're going to drop off big. And that's my surprise prediction for next season. And I feel like it's going to be underrated. I know he's going to hate me for that, but I feel like they're going to go down. But like it's, I feel like they're going to go down, but like in a way, I feel like they'll stay up. I feel like it's going to be a relegation battle. I feel like it'll be close to them going down, but I feel like that's the only club I can see at the collection that I can see going down in terms of wealthy. I mean, Coventry would be my next pick. Near bottom. I don't think they're going to do a Sunderland, but I don't think they're going to go down because I'm always rooting for teams to stay up and not go down. And the amount of changes they've had. I mean, Frank Lampard as a manager in the Premier League, he's not done very well. In his spells, I mean, he's done decent, but he's not done well. And I feel like he'll just do enough to keep him up. I don't think he'll do enough to fight for the top 5 at any point in his career without Coventry, unless he's changed massively. Once again, I've not looked too deeply into how his style of play. I've seen a bit of it, and it can drop off time to time, and that's in the Championship. And if you do that in the Premier League, it's going to drop off big time, and they will get relegated. So my predictions, it's either going to be Newcastle or Coventry to get relegated out of 2 teams. But I mean, out of the new signing, they just brought in Gustavo Harmer, a fan favourite from Sheffield United. Caleb Uranki, I've always rated him as a player. Carl Rushworth, 22 million from Brighton. That's a good signing. A good season last year. Almeida, Frankfurt, good defender. He's had a really good season there. Chuama, as I say, Chuanu from Burnley. He's a decent player. Onyeka from Brentford, who was on loan last season, who was decent as well. I mean, looking at my money, they spent 6 million, 28 million, 43 or so million. They spent over 60, 70 million in this transfer window. So they've got to stay up by just on that basis. The amount of money they spent, they've done like a Sunderland. They spend big, stay up. I feel like that will work. But as I said, I feel like it'd be really close. It'd be really, really close to the end of the season. Now, so it's 20th, 19th, 18th, 17th, 16th place. 16th place. I'm going to go for Fulham. I don't think Fulham are going to have a good year like they usually do. I feel like they're going to be a cup team. I think they're not going to do good in the league, but they're going to do really good in the cups. And usually these teams are a mid-table team. They're up there, usually pretty solid. But I mean, the 11th. I don't know if they had Marcus Silva last year. I feel like he left this year, but having one of the biggest managers in their history leave and replace it with Arbola is a good manager. Don't get me wrong, they're decent at Real Madrid. They brought in 30 million Shea Charles. They brought in Cesar Palacios and Gonzalo Garcia, both really good players from Real Madrid, young players that will fit into the system. Shea Charles would be a really good signing. But as I said, I feel like this will be a cup team. Maybe they go on to an FA Cup, maybe a Carabao Cup, get himself into Europe that way, and have a better season next year. But I don't feel like they're going to focus on the league too much, and I don't feel like they'll be. I feel like they'll be comfortable, but I feel like they'll be near the bottom somewhere. In hindsight. So next up, we've got. Give a second, sorry. Looking at the facts I've got here. So I feel like next up, we'll have in the bottom will be Leeds. I mean, it won't be too dissimilar to last season. They finished fourth from bottom, so it'd be one place lower. I feel like once again they'll have a stronger season, but just comparing to the bigger teams and the other teams in the league, I feel like they'll just stay up. I feel like that'll be their only goal this season, just to stay up. I don't know too much in terms of the transfers they've done. They've brought in James Trafford, who's a really good goalkeeper, on a free transfers. No, that's false. It's not a free transfer. It's like 30 million, isn't it? But that's a really good signing in first place to have James Trafford. He's a really good young goalkeeper. Next England #1, I reckon. And that brought into the club. A player called Tariq Mohamovic, 34 million. Really good investment. Harry Wilson have been brought in as well. So 3 players have been brought in, but 3 top quality players to improve the squads. Save the outgoings they've had as well. I mean, it's an improvement. Dominic Calvert-Lewin pre-season, he's been absolutely good form. He's been absolutely insane. But the rest of the squad, in terms of quality, I feel like it's a squad that is good, but it's not a team that's going to be fighting for the top. I feel like it's either they're going to be around this area or they'll be at middle. I don't think they will be anywhere near the top. Anyway, next up, we have Sunderland. I feel like that's going to shock everybody. I mean, Sunderland having a worse season. It's not going to be a good year for the North. By the way, my prediction's going. This is my early prediction. I would have done one a week ahead before the Premier League started with all the new transfers and everything. But I'm going to hold it next week, so I can't really do anything around there. But Sunderland, I feel like they finished 7th last season. It'll be a massive drop off, but once again, it'll be a team that be focusing in Europe. And Crystal Palace and Nottingham Forest had European football last season, and they've dropped off to the bottom half of the league because they've been focused on the European spots and doing well in the European competition. I feel like they'll focus on that, all the cups as well. They'll be focusing on all cups instead of the league. I feel like they'll do well in the cups. Maybe even win it, win stuff. But I feel like they'll be too busy focusing. By the time they're focusing on the league, it'll be too late for them to make massive improvement. I mean, they've only brought one player in, and that's Thomas Munier. But what do we expect? They've spent big last season, so they won't be making too many changes this season. They've not really had too many big changes in terms of outgoings. Huggins, Traore, Sirkin, Jones, Russian, Mayenda's gone, Daniel Neal's gone, Aleskic's gone, but Ian Paveda's gone, Adingra's gone, but he went last season. I don't think he's actually left properly. But I mean, the squad they had, which they finished 7th, it's a bit buff. They've not had enough transfer money to improve. They're focused on European football. They've got a good squad. I feel like they'll finish this spot in the Premier League. Next up we have is Everton. And if I'm not mistaken, the way of the place I put them, I think is 13th, and I think that's the exact same as last season. And I feel like once again they're too busy focusing on cup competitions. They've not really made any changes to the squad at all. Um, they brought in they brought in Roll on a permanent from last season. I think they brought in Tyreek George from permanent and Roll on a permanent from last. No, Roll was on a permanent last season. No, they brought in Raw as a permanent. They brought in a few players out on loan last season as permanents. But they brought in Hackney. Be interesting to see how he does. Norgard and Johnson. I don't rate Norgard as a player. I think he's overrated as a player. Hackney, I feel like he would do really well. Breakout season for him as a player, and his value will go up. And next season, Everton, they'll finish higher in the league if he stays, or if he goes to a bigger club. I feel like he'll have a really good season next season in Everton. A straight swap for Brennan Johnson for Dwight McNeil. I feel that's a really good deal. Brennan Johnson's a really top class player if you can get the best out of him. So that's a positive change. But once again, there's not been massive change in the team. The players have got better. You've got like players like Harrison Armstrong coming through the youth. James Garner's got a lot better. I mean, they've got a really solid midfield of Norgard, Drewsby Hall, Alcaraz, Hackney, Garner, Arabuglam, and Harrison Armstrong. And they've got really good attack with Johnson, Beto, Ndai, Barry, George, Dibbling, and Roll. They'll only improve, but the points difference is gonna be different as it is every year. And I feel like they'll end up with form and the way all the team will perform. I feel like this is going to be a really competitive Premier League because you can have a lot of new managers as well at teams. I feel like they'll be a mid-table team, and they're finishing that spot. So next up we go to 12th, which is the proper mid-table. So I'll put that near the bottom actually, but then same spot, but 13th. I'll call this mid-table. Which is the 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, and up to 6th, because that's what we've got top 6 here. I feel like the next team for this spot will be Tottenham. And I know, that's Nottingham Forest. Tottenham. No, not McGregor. Tottenham, there we go. To have Tottenham, because I feel like, yes, they've had a lot of big changes, a lot of big signings. De Zerbi is a good manager. He's proven that he can do well in the Premier League at any club he's done, really. He's got a really good lineup. He's got Richarlison, Tell, Dominic Solanke, Dane Scarlett as strikers. They've got a young player, Hyang Min Yuk. They got a good young player, Mikey Moore, as well. Mohamed Kudus and Ober de Bert, once again, 21-year-olds. So they've got a really good mix of the experienced and youth players going through, which I feel like will mix well together really well. They've got a really good midfield with mix of youth and experience with Conor Gallagher, James Madison, Archie Gray, Lucas Bergveld, Alessandro Tonali, one of the new signers, Matis Fernandez, one of the new signings. I think he's overrated in my personal opinion. Cord Savensky, Tsar, Pentica, Javi Simons, and Kamalusi, 19-year-old. Once again, I feel like that'd be a really good mix for the team. But injuries has really plagued them. Javi Simons, James Madison, and Kud Slovensky, and I feel like it's going to continue. For next season, they'll just get more injuries. Bergfell and Archie Gray are two really good young players having a squad to develop. I feel like Archie Gray is going to be one of the best England midfielders if he develops correctly, because he's got that potential. I feel like he's going to be such a great player if they use him right. And it's going to be a really good squad if Zerbi's able to get the potential out of the right players and do the right things with the team. But they brought in Dubravka, Van Hecker's a defender, Senesi defender, Robertson's defender, all experienced players, not too young, but we've got good potential, good ceilings to work towards. I feel like they'll have a better season the next year. They finished just outside the relegation spots 2 years in a row. I feel like that'll change. They'll go middle. They've got massive improvements in performance. They'll try and go deep in the cups. And I don't think they'll go near the top. Next up, I would I'll put Chelsea right next to Tottenham. The London teams are here, but not in the right spot because Chelsea finished 10th last season. They brought in Javi Alonso to the club. I don't think they've got European football next season, so they've got a lot of time to develop that Man United have to focus on the team. That Man United finished third. But I don't know, Chelsea's just a really chaotic club. I feel like they're going to get a points deduction this season due to FFP. Javi Alonso is a good manager. He's got a really good system. I feel like he'll do well. They've got really good team. One of the big players I'm looking at is Mike Penders for next season, the Belgian 21-year-old goalkeeper. They've got a lot of young players and a lot of really good experienced players. Lacrade, Adebayo, Badashil, Colwill, Hato, Gusto, Fofana, Asensio, Asalaman Mino, Akipenyo, Akempong, whatever you say his name. I got a lot of really young players, but the squad's too big in my opinion. There's too many egos in the team. Pep Chavari, I don't know. I've never seen anything from him. I don't know why they bought him. I don't know anything from it. I don't think he's experienced enough. And they're trying to do too much with players. Lacroix is a good defender, but he played Crystal Palace last season and they finished near the bottom. His ceiling is can be really good in games, but it depends on the players around him once again. And I feel like the third team would be really good. But I mean, there's too many players in the squad once again, and there's too many problems at Chelsea for them to make a massive improvement because it's just the way the clubs run and injuries as well. They brought in Jordan Henderson. I think that's a wasted spot for another player they could have brought in. They've got Enzo Fernandez, Casado, Lavia, three really good players right there midfield. Cole Palmer, Echigo, Morgan Rogers has just been brought in. Really good tacker. But I mean, once again, it's a situation of the players can have really good season. They'll probably win a cup in this season, but I don't know. I honestly, this club, I don't know. That's why I put them. Oh, sorry. That's the reason I put them middle table, just above Tottenham, because I feel like they'll have a similar season to next year, but I don't think they'll have a really good season because of the whole scenario going on there. Anyway, next up we have I feel like that's 11th. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Chelsea, so there's 10 more to go on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this will be 10th place. It's where Chelsea finished last season. I'm going to put Crystal Palace. I feel like Palace are going to have such a massive improvement. They're such a good team. Once again, they brought it's another case of a new manager, Pierre Sarge from RC Lens. But RC Lens, his time at RC Lens, he had 1 year there, and my God, did he do really well? I mean, he literally competed. He won Coupe de France, and he competed with PSG. You know, he won the double at Lens in France. I nearly beat PSG. It was something I was rooting for the entire season. RC Lens, PSG constantly swapping places until PSG ran away with it. But I mean, with that track record, bring him to a squad that's already really good, that did really well under Glasner. I feel like it could be really, it could do miracles with this team. But for me, manager's really good, but the signings have just not been there. I don't know what style he plays. I don't know if he plays with right backs or left backs. But the club currently really don't have too many. Tomiyasu's a player been brought in. I don't know. I don't rate him too much. Canva is a young player. Mika, what's Mika doing? Chris Richards is a really good defender. Very well last season. Chadi Riyad is a really good defender. Proved himself last season at the club. I feel like Munoz can play. Munoz, Mitchell, Klein, and a few others. Meninguez Kafora. I feel like them players can play left back, right backs, so they do have the players depth. Adam Wharton, biggest player they've had last season. Somehow they still kept him. I feel like they will keep him, and that'll be massive for the club because he's such a key player, such a good player. Pino, Lerma, Sarr, Ismail Sarr is a really good player. The quality they have, Charlie Hughes, Will Hughes, not Charlie Hughes. I don't know why I thought Charlie Hughes. Will Hughes, Sosa, Devani, youth player coming through. McNeil, they've just signed. Ketia, Mateta, SEA, Larson, Franca, Saki. These are all really good players, a really good squad. But I feel like the next couple of days, I feel like they're going to do a lot more signings that's going to prove my point and then finish in 10th and having such a massive increase in the season. But I feel like it's once again it's down to the manager. They've brought in a really good manager, really good track record. I feel like he will do really well with the team and it'll be an improvement. They're not in Europe, I don't think. No, they are in Europe. So, yes, they will be focusing on Europe. But I feel like they'll have a good league run as well. Because of just the manager they brought in and the squad they have. I feel like Crystal Palace have got a really good upward trajectory in their future in the league. Next up, we have Nottingham Forest, which will be a massive improvement and just outside the European spots in 9th. I feel like they will be fighting near the end. I mean, I feel like last season when they weren't in Europe, but not in Europe once again, they were fighting for the European spots. I think they did get a European spot. I mean, at one point they were competing with the rest, and they were top 4, like Crystal Palace last season. They were in top 4 last season, or the season before. And I would love to see that again. Say that they do have the squad. I mean, the Glasner's come in. I feel like Glasner can get them in European football. I think if anything, I feel actually I'm going to change this. I'm going to put Brentford here. I'm going to talk about Nottingham Forest later. I'll put Brentford here for now. I've changed it. Oh my god, I've changed it. Brentford though, Keith Andrews had a really good season last year. He's going to be focusing on European football because I think they qualified for European football last season, didn't they? Let me just check. No, they've just missed out on the European spots. But a really good season. I feel like they'll just miss out once again. So they'll be 8th, then they'll be 9th place again. They'll be focusing in the cups a bit more. But I feel like the quality of other teams, I feel like they'll be above them. They brought Sangari in. That's the biggest signing really. They brought in Aidan Stokes from Red Bull, and Callum Wilson, Jane Anthony, Schuster, Furrow. That's it. So they're brought in quite a few players. I think some experienced and some youth players. And a really good at developing players. Sangare though, I feel like he'd be the key player to keep him going this season and to help him get to that 9th place once again. Once again, it's gonna go down to the lineup. They will be fighting for the European spots with the other teams, and I feel like it's going to be really close at the top of the table with these teams. And Brentford, if anything, I feel like they could potentially get a European spot as well. That's the reason I had them that high before. Next up, Brighton. I feel like this is just a copy of last season's table. Yes, it is Brentford Brighton. But I feel like Brighton will be focused on European football. Why are they top 6? They'll be focused on European football, and I feel like they'll get it again because of the quality. So their main goal, I feel like they'll do well in the European Cup, but they won't make it too far in the competition. I don't know if they'll win it. I don't think they will, but they'll do well in it. And they'll be looking to get that European spot just in case they don't qualify or they don't win it this season. They'll be looking to keep their spot. But I feel like they will win it, and the European spot will go down to Brentford, and Brentford will get that European spot this season. If anything, it might go down again as well. If Bournemouth win the Europa League, win Champions League, and then the league format will completely change in tournament qualifications, but they'll be up for it, and it'll be really close in the season. But I'd only see them having a similar season to last year. Fabian Hertzler is he's a great manager. He's learning on the way, but they're still learning to be a team, and just securing them as a team that will stay in the Premier League and stay in this mid-table battle, and potentially further up in the league. But once again, compared to the rest of the quality of the league, I feel like they won't do as good. They brought in Luka Vuskovic, Valentin Joseph. I don't know too much about him. He's a youth player from Blackburn. But Michael Shavoda, I don't think that's a good signing for them. I don't know much about him. But anyway, it could be a good signing. Rego, Struik, Costinha from Olympiacos, Johanna from Aiki, 23 million youth player. Hopefully that works out. Spent big on him. But I mean, this team is so good at looking at bringing in youth players, then developing them, and they're making them work. But I feel like the biggest thing for Brighton this season is losing Danny Welbeck. But I feel like they can quite easily replace it with Konstantinos Kostas or Seamas or Ferguson. They've just got top quality in their team, but I don't think they're just ready to make that move to top 6 or further European spots. But once again, it'll be tight around this area. Next up is Nottingham Forest. This will be 7th place. This is going off the track record of how they've done without being in European football, and the squad they've got is really good. Oliver Glasner is a really good manager, in my opinion. He's got a really good squad to deal with. He just brought in Osman Diamonde from Sporting. They can do miracles with his team. He's already got Morato, Murillo, Milenkovic, Binden, Cunha. He's already got top quality players there. He got youth players coming through. Sangare, Dominguez, Gibbs White's top quality. Schlager is a new player. Netson is a new player. Hutchinson, Jesus, Ndoye, Wood, Awanoi, Hudson-Odoi. I feel like they've still got time to bring players in. I feel like that'll prove my point in terms of them finishing the top spots, just outside the top 6. But I feel like they've got the squad, they've got the manager. They've got a very good track record of when they're not in European football, and I feel like they'll just miss out on top 6. Next up, Liverpool. I know. People are going to be like, what? Liverpool 6th? What's this guy on? But I'm looking at it as a fresh perspective. They got a new manager in it before first season. I don't think he'd do too well. Say they finished 5th last season. The squad's not too different. Areola is a really good manager. Good players. But they're not brought many players in. They'll do well. They'll always do well, Liverpool. But I feel like they'll just miss out on the Champions League spots once again, because it's just something the club does for some reason. And yeah, Areola is going to have an interesting season with young players. Ryan Gamero is going to bring out top quality performance in him. He developed really well this season. Such a key player for them. Victor Munoz is a good signing. They've got good players like Wirtz, Isak, Chiesa, Gakpo, Ikitike, Gravenberg, Alexis McAllister, Zabozdai, Van Dijk. Van Dijk's bit on. I feel like we need to focus on the defence a bit more. And the depth really got me as well. I feel like they'll do well in European football in Europe. That's the reason why they're going to drop off a bit in the league, because they just don't have the squad depth to do well in both. I feel like that's going to be key for Areola this season, to stay in Europe and do well in Europe. Next up is Bournemouth. I think anybody would have expected that. for Bournemouth to be up there. I mean, they had such a great season. I mean, they're bringing in a new manager. I don't know how good do Marco Rose with very good track record. He's been at Dortmund, Gladbach, Red Bull teams. I mean, he's got a really good track record. He looks to be a good manager. He's got a good squad already. They brought in Yanelu Sanchez, Antonio Silva. I think that's a really, really good signing. Should be one of the players. He's a player that teams like Man United were looking at a couple of seasons ago, and Liverpool, Man City. They were all looking at him at one point. Alvaro Rodriguez also joined the club as a top striker. I mean, they've done really well bringing some players in, and they've not really lost any key players. Really, they've lost Sinisterra, they've lost Senesi, and Favre, but I feel like they could still prove what they can do massively with the squad they have and the manager they brought in. I feel like they were running off last season, the hype of last season doing really well. I feel like for them it's either hit or miss. I feel like they're either going to be finishing top 6, getting the Champions League spots, or they'll be mid-table. That's how I see it for Bournemouth. But anyway, let's move on. Let's have a look at the top 4 then. Right, so this is major. Man City. No, we're not winners. Man City. I feel like Man City, the new manager, will do well, but I don't think they'll do as well as they usually do because Enzo Maresca will be sitting in. Chelsea didn't really do too well, but Man City's got bigger assets. He's brought in some really good youth players that I feel like will do really well next season. He'll be focusing on the Champions League and the Cups than anything else really this season. For all these Premier League teams, I've said for most of it, they're going to be focusing on the Cups, and that's the key part. They are going to be focusing on the Cups, especially if they're in Europe. Like Sunderland, the reason they're going to near bottom is because they're in Europe. Bournemouth, they're in Europe, but I feel like they do well. Brighton, I feel like they'll finish the same place because in Europe. Crystal Palace, I feel like they'll be mid-table because they've brought in a really good manager and once again they're in Europe. So I feel like the cups make a difference because I feel like a lot of teams can be focused on the cups to go from the European spots because there's an open door to go to the European spots and go into Europe through the cups, and I feel like they're focusing on them so much more because this year is the biggest chance to ever win it because so many teams got different changes going on that it could be major to how the way the league ends. So that's how I see it for any team. But for Man City, I feel like it's a new season from Enzo Maresca, massive change from Pep, and I feel like they're going to drop off a bit. But I feel like next season, the season after this one, they're going to pick it up to this one. Next up, Aston Villa. I feel like Aston Villa, once again, they're a really good club. It's either hit or miss, this team. I feel like they'll either do well in Europe and stay up in the league, or they'll do well in Europe and they'll be mid-table in the league. Instead of being around top. But I feel like they have a really good season. One point last season, they were even fighting for the title. And that's let alone the changes they've had this season. They brought in João Gomez from Wolves. No, this is the team that brought in Manzambi. Manzambi for Aston Villa, be such a key new player. I mean, great youth player. João Gomez had a really good season at Wolves. Alejandro Garnacho is not the best signing in the world. I mean, it's like Jadon Sancho last season. He'll do his part. But they've not really made many changes to the squad. They've still got Ollie Watkins at the team. Onana, Kamara, still got pretty much the exact same squad as last season. With a few players missing. But with the squad they have and the manager they have, I feel like they'll do really well. Anyway, next up, this is the final 2. So the video, yes, finally the video is nearly ending. Good, everybody's thanking this now. Well done, we made it this far. It's 40 minutes into recording. I mean, I didn't expect it to be this long of a prediction video. I've been ranting for ages. I don't know. Premiership, next predictions for the Premier League will be not as long. But Man United. Man United won't win the league. I know it's really. Oh, I don't think many people are going to predict them to do so well. But the way I see it is the change in the league, all of these new teams, and what's going on in the league at the moment, is that this will be the time for Man United to pounce and they'll do well. Especially going off the form of last season. And some of the transfers they brought in they're not the best transfer in the world. The club needs to do more, but they brought in some good players. Andre Santos from Chelsea, I feel like he's got good potential. Yuri Tielemans from Aston Villa, really good signing. I mean, really good experience. He would do well. The only reason the club got him is because of the release clause, 35 million. Lucky to get him. He's a really good midfielder. Man United got really solid defence. I mean, the right back position needs looking at, and the left back positions need looking at. But they finished third last season. They brought in some players that are going to increase the quality in a decreased season of the Premier League, because it's going to be more closer, and there are more chance for any team to surprise anybody, because how many changes going on. The new managers, new players, like everything's going on. But Man United will take advantage of it, but won't win it. And I feel like that leaves it to Arsenal winning it again. As much as it hate for me to put it and to win it again, I mean, sorry. I mean, just look at what they've done. They've got Bruno Guimaraes brought in, Christian Solis coming in, Melier, Hincapié coming in permanent. But the youth squad as well, Ethan Nwaneri in these days, Lewis Skelly, Max Dowman going as a 13 player, and Solomon defender. I mean, so many new players. If they don't go out and learn, they will be used this season. They've got top quality squad anyway, and they've just made it better. And they made it a squad that can really compete. And I feel like they'll win it again this season. And I'm happy to say that, because at least it's not Man City winning it or Liverpool winning it again. At least it's going to be someone different winning it twice. And just a really good squad. Declan Rice is in midfield. I mean, just a really good squad. They've improved it. They will win the Premier League. That's my prediction. I think every prediction is good for them to win it. But I feel like I've got quite a few shockers in there with Man United, Tottenham, Newcastle especially. But my predictions are what I think is going to happen. I think this is going to be the final league. But it can definitely change from now to the start of the season with transfers. Especially Newcastle, they're going to bring quite a few new players apparently, according to reports. So that could definitely change. I might be completely wrong. But that is my Premier League prediction. Sorry for a long video. Sorry for ranting at you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.